भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसक्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ. Namaste everyone. So today we'll be continuing our series of discussion on Swami Vivekananda's very important teachings and with different insights from our dignitaries. And today we have a very distinguished monk amongst us. We have with us most revered Swami Krishnasakhananda Maharaj from Ramakrishna Math, Rajkot. Revered Maharaj is one of the most passionate when it comes to spreading the message of the Holy Trio on the digital media. Maharaj is very deeply involved in a website that is vivekananda.live. Most of you would have probably noticed a lot of the banners which come with utmost quality, both content-wise and also design-wise, and in different languages. So having been one of the designers myself, I know how much effort it takes to come up with such a quality content. And Maharaj goes about his duty in a very serious and methodical way. And in fact, it was his vision to have this content from all the languages in India. He succeeded in having 4 to 5 languages now. I am sure over time we will be having that content in other languages also. It's going to help go a long way in taking the message of Swamiji and the Holy Trio to the audience across the globe, not exactly India. So it goes everywhere. And also, once you do these banners, they're almost like eternal. You do them once, year after year, decades after decade, those things are going to be relevant. So the contribution that Maharaj has made already, and he is still making, is quite extraordinary to take the message of Swami Vivekananda to all the people in all the corners of the globe. And also, he is the editor of a Gujarati magazine that is Ramakrishna Jyot. And recently, they have published an app on the iOS also and Android. Ramakrishna Jyot app is available Vivekananda Live. So we'll be sharing the link. So you should download this app. So Maharaj, it's an extreme pleasure to welcome you to our program. And personally, and on behalf of all the admins of the Vivekavani group and also all the followers, we welcome you most heartily with most reverential pranams. So welcome to our show, Maharaj.
Thank you.
So today, revered Swami Krishnasakhananda Maharaj is going to talk on spirituality in digital age. So we know that we have been impacted a lot by this technology, especially with 4G being made so cheap. Today I was reading one comment by one of the deep thinkers in social media. He was saying how by making the technology very cheaply accessible, how it has impacted the people. So what content they are watching, how their mind is being influenced, and how badly it's being influenced. The children and also the old age people also. Those who should spend time on doing kirtan bhajans in the villages, now they're addicted to social media and also web series. Most of them are not in a very good taste. So we have challenges as we have the advantages of social media. We also have many challenges of social media. Today, Maharaj is going to enlighten us and is going to share his insights on how we can use social media to our benefit and how, just imagine if Swami Vivekananda had access to Facebook, Instagram, and emails, what revolution he would have created. I always think about this because he used to write letters from America. It used to take a long time to reach India. Suppose he had an email service at that time, how, well, it would have been really a revolution. But we have that today. We can make up for all that. So, Maharaj, it will be really fascinating to listen from you on this wonderful topic, spirituality in digital age. So, over to you, Maharaj.
Thank you. And I am grateful to every one of you, Babu and Navina, for inviting me to this live stream. Nishchal Maharaji, my humble pranams to you. And one thing, when we talk about technology, we have to understand that Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, they were on the top of the things. So Thakur once says that he wants to go to see how the balloon flies, or he went to see to the Asiatic Society and saw that skeletal, how that human skeletal, when doctors dissect and do all their studies, they study skeletal also. So Thakur went to Asiatic Society to see the skeletal, and later on he also gives examples from everything. So he says that how he was tied up, so like that skeletal in that Asiatic Society. Swamiji, of course, we know that Nikola Tesla himself, he used to come to attend Swamiji's classes, etc. So when it comes to technology as such, Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, they both, sometimes people may think that being religious or being spiritual, we do not like technology, or that perhaps we should stay away from it. But this is not the way of Ramakrishna mission or the way Ramakrishna Bhavdhara. Swamiji's idea was that what is the greatest civilization? What, ideally speaking, what should be a civilization be like? So Swamiji says that we should take the liberalism and science and technology from the West, and then we should fuse it with the deep inner spiritual source that flows eternally in India. When we fuse these two streams, the future next civilization will be far greater than any that had ever gone before. So this was Swamiji's basic idea, and that is why you see that why Ramakrishna mission in our educational institutions, in our hospitals, dispensaries, etc., we always prefer to work with the latest technology, so that this technology can be beneficial to the society at large. Swamiji has very nice quotation in one of his lectures from Colombo to Almoda, initial lectures itself. He says that whenever these foreign invaders have came to the east from the west, every time they have come to the east, every time they have drawn roads, they have made pathways over the globe through the nations, so, flowing through the same pathways, flowing through the same roads. Eastern spirituality has gone out to the world and inundated the world with its life-giving, affirming message. In Swami, we see that when Alexander first came, we know that Buddhism spread along with the same route that Greek army drove through India. This Silk Route, we know Silk Route wasn't invaders route; it was a merchant route. But still, through this Silk Route, how Buddhism spread in Eastern Asia, and how this spice route spread Buddhism in Southeast Asia. Later on, Swami Vivekananda himself, when British came to India sailing in their gunboats, Swamiji sailed to West, to Britain, and to America in the same steamboats to spread Vedanta in the West. So every time there is a connectivity, Indian spirituality has flown through these channels of communication to spread its message of bliss and inner development. And Swamiji says that how this message is spread like a morning dew falling gently on the rose petals. So the way Western message has been spread, like say Western civilization, Western science and technology, first this invading army comes, and then there is a lot of bloodshed, and later on this on the back of this invading army, we know that Swami Vivekananda himself studied in a Christian college. So there were two ways of learning this Western wisdom, whatever we needed to learn. There might have been a peaceful propagation of the message, but Instead of that, there was a violent propagation of Christian and Western message. But Eastern message, may it be Buddhism, may it be Hinduism, may it be Vedanta, Bhakti school, they have all spread through peace and blessedness behind them, with the blessings of our rishis, and flowing through the same channels of communication which have been carved out by these Western powers. Today we see these channels of communication, they are here in the form of our internet and this telecommunication, etc. And once more, Ramakrishna Mission and many such other organizations, groups of devotees, volunteers working individually like you have come, you have rise up to this occasion, and you have spread the message of Thakur Mind Swamiji is using these same channels of communication, namely today is internet and social media. I remember when there was 150th anniversary of Swamiji's celebration, it was said by the Prime Minister's office that it behoves upon Ramakrishna Mission to spread Swamiji's message as aggressively as possible. Otherwise, we see that there are so many negative things coming on social media, internet also. And if we are not there, not just Ramakrishna Mission, not just Swami Vivekananda, but Hinduism as such, Vedanta as such. If Vedanta is not there to counter this negative influence, somewhat negative influence, then what will happen? The brain of our younger generation will be washed. It's called brainwashed, and they will imbibe all these negative things. So this is one thing I will like to point out, that every time a new channel is created, we should immediately take a proactive action and start sending Swamiji's messages, shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc., lives of our say saints and rishis through the same channel, so that people can always have choice. Now it is up to us. I have everything open before me. I can take everything which is negative, which influence negatively my mind, and I also have the material which include influences positively. It has benevolent influence on my mind. So it is up to me now to make a choice. And as it is said in our Upanishads, Shreyascha Prayascha Manushyam Etat, before a human being, we have always two choices. We always face two choices. One is priya. What is priya to me? Something I like, say for example, I like to eat sweet. I like to wake up very late in the morning. So I like to watch cinemas. So these are the things which are priya to me, which are my favorite. But there are other type of activities and things which is shreyaskar for me, which is more beneficial to me, as like for example, when it is examination time, testing time, I should forget watching cinema, etc., and focus on my studies. If I have any diabetes or any such disease, then I should stop indulging in sweet food, etc. So always a human being has two choices. And it has happened in the past that why some people believe, some people think that people shouldn't be given a choice. If there is something negative, then take this negative thing away. But taking this negative thing away from the person, we also deny him the chance to develop. This is exactly what happened sometimes in medieval India. We began to believe that Indian society is very spiritual, and it is necessary to preserve our heritage, our spiritual wealth. So, in order so that this spiritual wealth is not destroyed, let us not have contact with some say people, those type of people who may teach us bad things. So there was some very negative type of tradition started in our society, like we shouldn't cross the oceans, which was called kala pani. And what was the result of that thing? Swamiji writes in his letter that look how the Western nations are on the march, even the Japan. Swamiji writes this letter from Yokohama, writes to our I forgot his name. So what was the name? To him he writes this letter. His
Alasinga
Chennai,
Perumal.
huh?
Alasinga Perumal. Alasinga Perumal.
Singa Perumal. Yes, yes, yes. So, how these nations are on the march. See the technological and industrial progress that they have made. Instead of we be in communication with these nations, instead of be a part of this community, world community, we cut ourselves off from all these world currents. And what was the result? A result was a long dark sleep in which our nation had sank down. All the superstitions and etc. It they start, and Swamiji himself this after a long night the giant is awakening. Our Indian nation is awakening once more after a long night. Why was there a night? First of all, that we have to understand, and that night was because we cut ourselves off from these world currents. So India should very much be a part of this world current. India should very much we should have this spirit of give and take. We should always be ready to give our spirituality, and we should be ready to accept their gift, their I wouldn't say gift, but whatever they have learned, whatever they have earned in the field of natural and material science. This give and take is always the way civilization proceeds, the way civilization develops. We cannot expect every civilization to be perfect in its own self. Every civilization, every great civilization has something to teach. So we should be humble enough to learn from all great civilizations, and we should be self confident enough. We should have enough Atma Shraddha in us so that we can also contribute something positively to this world heritage of civilizations, which is a common heritage of mankind. So this give and take spirit, how this is enabled by technology. So technology should be adopted. We shouldn't police individuals choice just because the technology gives you an ability to misuse it. Technology itself should never be stopped from developing and from being spread. There is an incident in Holy Mother's life. One mother had married very early, as we know. When she came to Kamarpukur, she was still a child, and she wanted to study. So one day she was studying a book, and Hriday Ram, who was the nephew of Sri Ramakrishna, he took the book away. What did he said? That if a young girl learns to read, what will happen? She will also start reading plays and novels. So just because she shouldn't start reading plays or novels, women shouldn't be teach anything. So this is a very negative kind of attitude towards any type of learning. Suppose there is an always a possibility that I will burn someone's home. Does that mean that humankind shouldn't develop the power of fire? There is always a chance that I will kill someone with the knife. Does that mean that we should never develop this material science? The knife or the fire are just instruments. They depend upon our viveka, our discrimination to how to use them. That discrimination is given by this spirituality, and these tools are provided by this technology. When these two matches, that my ethics, my morality, my values which are given to me by Vedanta, by spirituality, and when I match this with the cutting edge technology, imagine how much more progressive we can become. Today we have just started in the world of spirituality as well as in the world of science and technology. Raja Maharaj used to say, Samadhi is the beginning of spiritual life. Looking by this definition, we haven't even begun. We are just pre-probationers in spiritual life. Once I get samadhi, then my true spiritual life will begin. When I am not just talking about Vedanta or what Thakur said, what Swamiji said, or what kind of visions they had. Once I had samadhi, once I have samadhi, I will actually begin to feel, experience, and become like them. Then my spiritual life will truly begin. And of course, we know what kind of miracles await us in material science, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, genetic manipulation. What is not there? Space exploration. Imagine a future civilization where uh, yoga, meditation, and Vedanta are taught from the first standard, from the kindergarten itself, from Bal Mandir itself. They are learning all this yoga and meditation and Vedanta and the lives and teachings of great saints on one hand, and on the other hand, they are taught creativity. What is the problem with science and technology today in India? We learn it by rote memorialization rather than by developing our own curiosity, our jigyasa vritti, mumukshutva. Mumukshutva are there are two types: as a spiritual mumukshutva, some material scientific mumukshutva. By following this material scientific mumukshutva, curiosity, Einstein developed this theory of relativity and this all this modern science and technology. There is always a story behind this. I used to like all these stories very much, how Newton followed his developed his thought process to develop these laws of gravity, how these European scientists in early 19th century, they came up with all these revolutionary ideas of quantum dynamics, which broke apart 400-year-old orthodoxy which was propagated after Newton, that space and time are absolute. They in Einstein and all these other European philosophers and thinkers and scientists, they developed two modern theories of physics, relativity and quantum dynamics, which have laid the foundation of what we know about our universe and about nature today. So on one hand, there are exciting discoveries after discoveries in that field, and in Vedanta, of course, spiritual world is full of so many inner journeys, exciting journeys, beginning from the Vedic rishis to the Buddhist bhikkhus and our acharyas, later on Shankaracharya, and then avatars, the series of avatars, one after another they have come: Ram, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Ramakrishna himself. Every one of them have developed one or another aspect of spirituality in such a way, if we study them as a journey, as an exciting journey, by developing our curiosity, by developing our need to explore, then it will be much better for us to learn rather than just memorizing things. Memorization never works, neither in spiritual life nor in our scientific learning. We should develop curiosity, dual edged curiosity. On one hand, it cuts in the scientific world, and on the other, it cuts in this spiritual world. By developing this curiosity, we will learn much more about how the spiritual ideas have developed and how I should develop my own practice, because no two persons are alike. Swamiji says Vedanta shouldn't be a straight jacket. Vedanta should be customized for every each and every person. When there are as many persons on earth, so many Vedantic theories, then Vedanta will be complete. It's not like that we are here to fuse all this Dvaita, Vishishta Dvaita, and all these theories together. No, we should have actually as many schools as there are people, because like our, if something as simple as our fingerprints are unique to us, imagine such something so complex as our brain. Each brain is unique, each brain has its own power. So if our theories are modified, customized according to our unique brain patterns, then how fast we will develop in our spiritual life. And that this ability to customize, ability to modify theories and practices according to my need, according to my karma pravaha, that can only be acquired if I know how these theories were developed originally. So to understand, to have this understanding of this development process of spiritual, religious theories, philosophical, and on the other hand how these laws of nature were developed, were explored one after another great scientists, and how we have come to implement them in our day-to-day life today. Once these two branches fuses together in our education system, in our civilization and society, we will have a far greater edifice, far greater palace of human civilization, mankind on our hand for our new generation, next generation to inhabit. So I suppose is enough, Navina ji, as a presentation.
Yes, Maharaj, we'll be looking forward to the presentation also. We have some time still.
Okay. So let me just go through some of my quotations that I have selected here. Uh, okay, you can see this, right? So Swamiji says the astronomer concentrates all the energies of his mind and projects them through his telescope upon the skies and the stars, the sun and the moon, give up their secrets to him. Concentration is the root, is the secret of learning. If I focus my mind upon suns and stars and planets, etc., they will give up their secrets to me. The more I can concentrate my thoughts on the matter on which I am talking to you, the more light I can throw upon you. You are listening to me, and the more you concentrate your thoughts, the more clearly you will grasp what I have to say. This learning process, this process of discovery and exploration, all of that, behind that, the secret is concentration. So may it be natural science, may it be spiritual science. For Swamiji himself has said, what should my education be like? Ideally speaking, had my education in my own hand, I would have first of all learned to concentrate, and later on, with my power of my concentration, I would have quickly acquired one after another branches of learning which I want to acquire. So suppose I want to become a physicist, or suppose I want to become a chemist, it's not necessary. I should begin by learning concentration, and once I learn concentration and then I focus upon physics, all the secrets of physics will be revealed to me very quickly, rather than going on this 5-year 10-year syllabus which is offered by universities nowadays. Next, Swamiji says the world is ready to give up its secrets if we only know how to knock, how to give it the necessary blow. The strength and force of the blow comes through concentration. There is no limit to the power of human mind. The more concentrated it is, the more power is brought to bear on one point, and that is the secret. Nowadays scientists talk about this multiverse and parallel universes, etc., where time and space themselves are residing side by side. Suppose past, present and future, all the thoughts of every man residing together in this multiverse or parallel realities, parallel worlds. Imagine, with our power of concentration, we can tap into this multiverse. What we cannot learn, what we cannot experience. There is such a huge world out there, full of wonder and learning and exploration for us to follow through. Just with concentration is our spaceship. Today they are developing all these spaceships. Tesla is developing. Our spaceship is concentration. And with this concentration, no space, no place is unexplored for us. No knowledge comes from outside, it is all inside. What we say a man knows should, in strict psychological language, be what he discovers or unveils. What a man learns is really what he discovers by taking the cover of his own soul, which is a mine of infinite knowledge. So Swamiji himself has said, from where these laws of gravity came, where did Newton created them? No, they were there. Newton just discovered them. So everything is there already in seed form inside us, and with concentration, we can unlock all the secrets. See the word Swamiji has used, which is a mine of infinite knowledge. Swamiji is so poetic in his description. Even his prose feels like sounds like verse. This, we say Newton discovered gravitation. Was it sitting anywhere in a corner waiting for him? It was in his own mind. The time came and he found it out. All knowledge that the world has ever received comes from the mind. The infinite library of the universe is in your own mind. So all this internet etc, we depend upon Google, but we have to understand that Google का बाप हमारे माइंड के भीतर में बैठा है. Means something which is far greater than Google is seated inside our own minds, only if we learn how to unlock it. The external world is simply the suggestion, the occasion which sets you to study your own mind. But the object of your study is always your own mind. The falling of an apple gave the suggestion to Newton, and he studies his own mind. He rearranged all the previous links of thought in his mind and discovered a new link among them, which we call the law of gravitation. So all these connections are there, all means scattered everywhere. We just connect them together and we will discover new laws ourselves. This creativity is important nowadays. You see what is the problem with when we say that Asia is rising. I'm not just talking about India, but Asia as such. Japan, China, Taiwan, Korea, all of our Asians are rising nowadays. We say that our economy is growing at a faster pace, our society is developing at a faster pace than the West. The biggest problem with us Asians in general is that we do not give sufficient focus upon this process of creativity. That is why even today most of the Nobel prizes are awarded to Europeans or Americans or the Asians who are working in European or American labs, because they foster this environment of innovation and creativity. Here is our greatest deficiency. If we Asians together want to cross this glass ceiling, we want to break this glass ceiling, we want to cross this barrier which has been imposed upon us for the last 500 600 years, ever since the rise of the West. We have to understand that just memorizing things, just by remembering things, is not true learning. Creativity is the true learning, by which process I can unlock deeper and deeper secrets. And this used to be the foundation of Vedanta. This concentration, which is a common element behind this scientific creativity, is the same thing, same concentration we employed to unlock our own gates of our own consciousness. Later on, what happened? There was a degradation both in our material prospect and our religious life. Religion degraded to all these blind beliefs and dogmas and just keeping faith rather than exploring and unlocking the doors of consciousness. Instead of that, it just degenerated. And so was a degeneration, material degeneration in the prosperity and our civilization. So we have to regain, we have to take back the control of our destiny by employing this concentration, not just by following the forms and rituals. Of course, forms and rituals are necessary in their own way, and memory is a very important ingredient in remembering things and learning scientific theories. No doubt about that. These external forms and rituals also have their place so that they regulate our life. But if we don't go beyond these forms and rituals or just memorizing, if we don't go beyond that, if we don't develop our power of willpower and concentration and atma shraddha, and if we don't uncover new way of thinking, not new truth, especially in the field of spirituality. Ever since the Mahavakyas, all the everything that has to be said in the field of Vedanta has been said. But the way of expressing these Mahavakyas have changed over every age. With every new generation, we have expressed the same truth again and again in the way that modern generation can understand. Today, you are seeing this image card. This is possible only in this last 10 to 15 years. This sort of representation of data. Before that, it was not possible because there was no internet, there was no easily available to graphic tools or these editing tools, etc. So, with every generation, we have kept pace by molding our spiritual religious message in the you can say language of that age. So this concentration gives us power to learn scientific truths and unlock our gates of consciousness. I think will this do, Navina ji?
Yes, Maharaj. We will take
We
some
can have
questions
some
from
question
the.
answers if there are any.
Yes, Maharaj. We have quite a few questions, so we will take these questions. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Maharaj, the first question comes from Deepa Pujar.
Mm-hmm.
She asks us, how can we practice our spirituality when we are surrounded by so many daily obstacles?
Thakur used to say that mane, vane, or kone. Every householder should retreat every once in a while inside his own mane. Is that means he should have some sort of seclusion from his family members. Kone, that is in the corner of his room, on in his house. And vane, that is every once in a while go to some spiritual retreat, take some vacation, etc., and go to some secluded place, go to some pilgrimage place. We have to detach ourselves every once in a while from all the distractions, and for that practice, daily practice is necessary. When I first came to join Belur Math, I was shown that timetable, and that timetable seemed so tough at that time. At 3:30 we have to wake up in the morning, and 4 o'clock we have to go to the temple, and then 5 o'clock there are yoga practices in our training center, and then breakfast, and then vegetable cutting, and then some gardening practice, and then classes. So this routine was made so that we become, our body starts following it automatically whenever there is no external authority upon us imposing that routine. So in the beginning we need to guide us, if there is someone who can force us to follow some sort of routine, or if we have willpower enough to, everyone once in a day, say half an hour or something, we retreat away from everyone else in a corner of my room and read kathamrut, or just pray to whichever god I prefer Sri Ramakrishna as an avatar, so I pray to Sri Ramakrishna. You may pray to whichever god is your favorite, to whom you are worshipping. So this external routine is very important in spiritual life. This I have learned from the way our training center is designed. It used to sound like regimentation in the beginning, and here also, as I said, that rote learning is not good. But as I also said, this external forms and rituals gives a structure to our life. Once we structure our life, then we should go beyond it. But first of all, we have to structure our life by following some sort of routine.
Thanks a lot, Maharaj. That answers the question quite well. And we have one question from Giridharan. He wants to know what is awakening.
What is awakening? That is, what is spiritual enlightenment? Spiritual
Uh,
enlightenment is like, Thakur used to say that once we go, there is a building, and there is one ladder which takes up that building. So what is that ladder? Ladder is renunciation, tyaga. We climb each step of this ladder by saying neti, neti, neti. This body is not me, these sensual pleasures are not me, these relationships are not me. I should renounce these relationships, I should renounce the pleasures of my body, I should renounce as much, whole world I should renounce. And then I will reach the terrace and I will see that everything is made of the same material as this god is made. So this body is made of god, these sensual pleasures are even that are made of god, everything is made of god. And by realizing this, we should come down saying iti iti iti, all is god, all is god. This ability to see god in everything, that is the spiritual enlightenment. A student, a sadhaka, he is always in a neti mode. I need to renounce this, I need to renounce this, I shouldn't do that. But once you have attained enlightenment, you don't have to consciously renounce. You cannot make mistake even by mistake. I mean, ঠাকুর বলছে মা বেতালে পা পড়তে দেবে না. In Bengali he says that even if I want to make mistake, mother will not let me. We know that very famous example. Thakur, Naren wanted to test whether Thakur has really renounced his desire for money, so he hid a coin beneath the mattress upon which Thakur was going to sit. Thakur sat upon that mattress and immediately he stood up as if he was stung. And then he lifted up the mattress, and so there was a coin. Naren wanted to test him that if he really cannot touch the coin, is that really true, or is just faking it? So it was really true. Thakur didn't know there was a coin beneath it. Still, he cannot sit there. So mother will not let you make a mistake even if you want to make mistake. That is true enlightenment.
Maharaj, we have one more question from Siddharth Singh. How to focus on studies, how to memorize well?
As we read through Swamiji's quotations, concentration is the key. And the key to concentration is willpower. You have to have willpower. You have to develop your willpower to concentrate. There is no shortcut here, unfortunately. Through means year after day, month after month, year after year, you have to sit down. You have to focus on your study material. Or suppose if you are a sadhak, then you will have to focus on the japam or on the god. This concentration, and it has to be acquired by a hard way. But you have to remember the story of a great saint, that he was studying in a gurukul, but he couldn't remember everything his teacher used to teach him. So one day the teacher became very angry with the student, and he said, you are a foolish fellow, you won't be able to learn anything. So this student ran away from his home, from the gurukul, and on the way he was thirsty and came upon a well, and he requested a woman who was drawing water from that well that please give me some water. And then he observed that there is a wall of the well, this stone barrier. He saw that rope has cut through the stone. How come? How was this possible? Stone is so strong and rope is so soft, but the rope has been going through to and fro every day for a long time upon this stone. So he thought that if rope can cut through stone, how can I not learn, how can I not impress something upon my brain? So he went back and he became a great scholar. I forgot his name, unfortunately, but this is a story from our tradition. So by practice, everything is possible. Practice and willpower, but you have to do that.
Thank you, Maharaj. We have one question from Prince Pandey. It's almost the same question, similar question. He's asking how to have consistent meditation.
How we should practice meditation consistently, is that the question? Then
Yeah,
again,
I
practice
understand that, Maharaj.
practice makes perfect. Practice, and if you have a good teacher, then nothing like that, because we need a teacher. We need some external authority that can whip us into obedience, because this mind is like a monkey. What is a very great how the mind is described in our shastras, like a monkey which has been stung by a scorpion, then the monkey has drunk wine, and then monkey has been possessed by a ghost. So how crazy this monkey would be. So our minds are like these crazy monkeys. So they always want to jump from this topic to another topic, from this point to another point. We have to, I mean, lunge upon them, and we have to discipline them. And if we have a guru, if we have a teacher who can make us he can scold us, threaten us into some sort of discipline, then it is very desirable. In the beginning, when I was into training, I joined in the balloon mud. So I have seen that we had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. And suppose if I skip for 1 or 2 day, then our assistant general secretary Maharaj, who was in charge of PPTC, he will call that boy, and he would say that you should go back to your home. You are not eligible to stay here as a monk. Not that he was threatening him. No one was sent back to home. As long as I have stayed in PPTC, I have never seen anyone sent back to home because he couldn't attend Mangal Aarti. But a threat worked like wonders, and no one would dare to not to attend Mangal Aarti. So some sort of external authority is necessary in the beginning. And if you have developed willpower, then sone pe suhaga, nothing better than that.
Well, it's so difficult to get the external guru and guidance in this current age. So maybe the digital media can help us. So a lot of people want to connect with you. They're asking for questions, I mean, sessions on concentration also. Maybe you could join us more frequently and take specific sessions
It's
on them.
time 8:30 is a very difficult time for me. Babu
We'll
knows
change the
that.
timings, Maharaj.
He requested me to appear yesterday, but I couldn't. If you can
Maharaj,
make it
I will.
clear after 7:30, it will be difficult. If you can arrange it before 7:30, then I will think about it.
Okay, I will take one question, Maharaj. This is how to control anger. I think this question a lot of us have, including myself also. So how to control anger?
See, there is a very popular method that before you say anything, you count to 10. And if you count to 10, by that time your sanity will return. But see, all of this is a matter of practice. I myself, is my own example. I was a sort of angry young man when I was my student days. I used to flare up very quickly. Not that I would show it, but in my mind, I would flare up very quickly. I would very quickly become angry. Why someone is misbehaving with me? Why everything is not turning out as I want it to be? Why people are not obeying me, or why are not there helping me out? Things like that, every small things. But over a period of time, I have realized that prayer works wonder. Nothing works better than prayer. If you pray to God, whichever God you believe in, I believe in Thakur, so I used to pray to Thakur, and very sincerely with folded hand, Thakur, please take away all my anger, and please give me some of your compassion, some of your peacefulness. Give me some of that. I pray you with my folded hands, and Thakur is bound to listen. Prayer is, I mean, prayer is an underrated method in spiritual life. I have seen that. We all talk about concentration and meditation and everything. But spiritual life, true spiritual life begins with prayer. If you cannot pray sincerely, if you cannot sacrifice your ego at the altar of God, if you cannot bend before God, your ego, Thakur has said that I can stand anything in a person. Girish Ghosh used to come to Thakur and he would become very angry. He would scold him this and that, and Thakur used to take it. Okay, he is a ansh of Bhairava, so he is behaving like this. But Thakur cannot take ego. If a person is egoistic, Thakur used to send Hriday. When Thakur used to go to everyone's all these famous and popular people in Kolkata, Thakur used to go and meet them. But first of all, he would send Hriday to check if this person is arrogant or not. If he is he likes to get respect because he's a successful man. Suppose, say for example, Devendranath Thakur, or say for example this Keshav Chandra Sen. They were great men in their own right. Keshav was honored by Queen Victoria herself. So these people are used to receive respect from everyone else. Thakur didn't mind that. But this arrogance is something completely different. Arrogance doesn't depend upon your success. Even a small person, he can be quite arrogant. One day Thakur knew one person, he used to come to meet Thakur regularly, and one day Thakur saw that he is not coming for some days, and one day Thakur met him. He was seated on the bank of Ganga, and he looks at Thakur and he says in Bengali, "Kemon moshai, kemon achen? How are you, my friend? How are you doing?" The way he talked, Thakur returned and told to Hriday that this person must have gained some money. That is why he's talking like this. So this arrogance is the first thing that we should be getting rid of in our spiritual life. So that is why prayer is very important. We pray very sincerely, putting aside our ego and arrogance to the holy feet of Thakur, and then other things will follow one after another in a quick succession.
Thanks a lot, Maharaj. So we have quite a few participants in this session amongst our own group. Maybe some of them have a question or two directly. If you want to ask, you can ask Maharaj. Maharaj, we'll just take 7 minutes more of yours. Babu, Ritesh, and Mr. Maharaj is also there, and Praneeth, Balaji, and Arkade. If you have some questions to Maharaj, so you can kindly ask them.
Namaste Maharaj.
Jai Ram Krishna.
Everyone, Jai Ram Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, actually, I heard a lot of stories about consistency in my life, and it really feels great, and it is so satisfying to the mind that through consistency, like we can achieve a lot. But when it comes to practicality, somewhere I lose that thing, which really stops me. That hope comes to the down. Like how to keep that in that flow.
See, if I may suggest, because we are a very nice group here, if you arrange a retreat, say for Babu has been to retreat to Mayavati, if you arrange a retreat for all these friends for say 1 week, etc., and you force everyone to follow routine, then this consistency will be developed inside you. Because you see, living by my own self, I have seen many people trying to develop all this routine, but these things are very difficult to do so individually. If you regularly have retreats with your friends in some secluded place, you can, there are so many ashramas, campus, they will allow you to stay for such a say 1 week, 2 week, and to follow your routine as long as you are within their religious bounds. So if you can do that, then that will work wonders, because consistency will not come of itself. You need some sort of external authority. Without external authority to do something, it's like learning mathematics. How many people are there in this world who have learned mathematics without going to school, without learning from your teacher? Very few people. We, every one of us, has started learning from the first standard, from the kindergarten, KG itself, under the supervision of a teacher, and 12 years of schooling, and then again 3 4 years of college. We have studied everything under the guidance of teachers. That is why we have learned so much. So if has to be learned under the guidance of teachers, spirituality, meditation, these are such difficult concepts to grasp as well as practice. You cannot do it on your own. Unfortunately, this has not been taught in our school. So the another solution is that we should have regular retreats by which everyone is forced to in our I don't know about your states, but in Gujarat we have regularly japa yagyas. Japa yagya is a retreat of say 1 week, something like that. All the devotees come, they follow a routine, they have to attend mangal arati, then they have to attend prayer sessions, then they have to sit for regular japam for 1 hour, 2 hour, like this. And so many devotees say that it is possible to do 2 hours japam in during this retreat, but if we sit for 10 minutes in our home, it's difficult to do so. Why it is difficult to do so? In your home you are more comfortable than you are in the ashrama. Still, This external authority is absent in your home. That is why it's difficult to follow through. In my own life, I have seen the regularity and the length of time I was able to sit in training center. I have to struggle today to maintain the same regularity. My benefit is that I have gone through years of external authority. I have spent years under external authority of our senior monks, so that somewhat it has become mechanical. But even then, I have to struggle. So you should think about all these retreats, and you should have someone to force discipline upon you. If you are asleep during the morning prayer session, then he will come and forcefully awake you, forcefully take you to the temple, and then force you to attend arti, etc. This authority is necessary. How to join Ramakrishna mission? You should follow, you should contact the nearest center, they will guide you. Very senior sadhu. Ideally speaking, you should be graduate, and you should be below 20 years of age and younger than 28 years, and you should not be married, and you should be physically healthy. These four criteria are met, then you are basically eligible to join Ramakrishna mission.
Maharaj, as you told now about the spiritual retreats, so I think many youths question me, many of my friends who are on this journey. So if these retreats are available in every district or in every state, because going to Gujarat, as you mentioned very clearly, so there are various programs going on in Gujarat. So in my nearby RKM branches, is there this availability where in a particular time of the year or in every month, this type of spiritual retreats are done, and what are the rules that one has to follow, one has to go through, like vipassana meditation for the 10 days you cannot use mobile and this sort of thing. So what are the rules and how youths can connect? I think younger generation who are watching this video, the new beginners, are more interested, because especially the corporates, the professionals, to go to such retreats where they will know about deeply, because they do not get regular time in their house. So how they will attend to their nearest centers? Please
So,
reflect on this.
I do not know what is going on in Bengal, so you have to check it out yourself. Every center has their own programs, so you will have to find it out yourself.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, I
Mm.
have one final question to you. You have been doing a lot of work on social media, and I just saw that new app that was released recently, Vivekananda Live. It's a very beautiful app. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that? There's banners you are creating, and that website you are maintaining, and the apps you have released. Because I think this is a great source of information for a lot of people across the globe. I think if you can just enlighten us for a few minutes on the work that you have done on the social media, it'll be really great to us, Maharaj.
See, all this, my obsession with this thing began when I was working on Swamiji's complete works. I am one of the very few fortunate ones who have been able to work on the committee that was formed in the Belur Math to uh, rearrange Swami Vivekananda's complete works. So when I was working on this complete works, I had already read complete works several times, of course. But when you are working with it, you are rearranging and going through these passages again and again. It gives you a very deeper and very unique perspective upon the text. So I came to realize that Swamiji's text can be broken down in several chunks of quotes, and these quotes are Swamiji's. As I said, his words are so evocative. His prose sounds like verse. He's speaking in prose, but it's so poetic language that you can actually create poetry out of it. So I am not a poet, but I am a software developer, designer. So I thought, why not to have very nice designs, appropriate designs, not just Swamiji's face. This is being done by everyone, including you, that you give Swamiji's quote and then you give Swamiji's image. Very nice. But I want to do something unique because of my this unique perspective. See, Swamiji's ideas encompass the whole world. Every topic that is under the sun, Swamiji has talked about it in one way or another. It is as it is said in Mahabharata. Everything that is in this world is in Mahabharata, and whatever is not in Mahabharata, it is not outside in the world. So that has been my perspective on Swami's complete verse. Everything that is there in this world, it has been there in complete verse, and whatever is not in complete verse, it's not there outside in the world. So Swamiji talks about so many ideas, but being in a text form, sometimes we cannot realize that he is talking about like this art you saw, that Newton is there and the stars and telescopes. Swamiji is talking about modern physics. So whenever he's talking about these ideas, why not to give an appropriate image? People may, all the people may not like it, all the people may not prefer to see it that way, but I believe that all these ideas should be associated and presented in this unique form along with Swamiji's ideas. So that is how I started creating this art, and then I started sharing it, and it went on increasing and increasing. And by the grace of Thakur, ultimately we have very large social media presence who are reading Swamiji's quotes every day. And then from that, that was a small step to develop our app. Our app is still in the development stage, and for now I am focusing on Gujarati literature because I am posted in Gujarat and Gujarati is my first priority. But later on we will include all these quotations of Swamiji. Right now our app contains all the issues, back issues of our magazine. Our magazine, Sri Ramakrishna Jyot Gujarati magazine, was started on April 1889, 1989. It is something like 34, 35 years away. So by now we have published more than 400 issues, and we have published more than 5 to 6,000 articles. So all of that are available in our app right now. Later on, we will expand this app to include all these quotations of Swamiji and online sales of books also. These books and quotations are available on website vivekanand.live, but they are not yet included in the app, which is a short step away. We will include them in the app later on in the newer versions. Babu, your sound is not coming.
One final question, Maharaj.
Yes.
One
Yes.
our friend Ritesh wants to ask. Ritesh,
Pranam Maharaj,
Jai Ram Krishna.
Jai Ram Krishna. I have a question, and while going through some of the literature of Swami Vivekananda and Gospel, I realized that we talk about visions. People have visions. Swamiji had vision of Ma Kali, and or when Sri Ramakrishna touched Swamiji, and then he had a vision. So until then, he was not sure. He was even doubting Sri Ramakrishna whether the vision which the experiences which Sri Ramakrishna had were really true or
Genuine or
not,
not?
genuine or not. So I and there are some miracles people experience. Even the few of the panelists here have experienced that divine touch when there was no hope. It could be a medical thing. When you lose hope and some miracle happened. So I felt the your faith is bound to be there. You gain the faith. But the people ordinary like me and many others, I maybe I've not felt that divine touch. So I do not have that faith which which people talk about. I get moved by it. I get inspired by it, but somehow I do not connect as much as they have. So my question is, I started turning towards trying to learn Vedas, trying to see again. It is based on faith. I'm not sure if I want to be critical, I'm not sure whether I'm reading the right thing or not, but I have a faith. Okay, let me go through it. Vedas, whichever I can learn from a guru, alone I cannot do. So my question is, where am I standing in this spiritual journey? I do not have a complete faith in God, and I'm trying to learn scriptures. So sometimes I feel I'm kind of
See,
lost.
having faith in God is like having faith in mathematics. Do you have faith in mathematics when you are started learning mathematics? When you have first started learning addition and subtraction and multiplication and division? No, you are learning it, and then you are seeing, you are experimenting with it, and then you are seeing results with your own eyes. This Learning and then experimenting and seeing the result is the very basis of our Upanishads. Later on, as I discussed earlier, there has been degradation in Indian spiritual practices, and faith come to encompass everything. Faith is necessary, as if when you decide which school to go to, your parents select a school for you. Why? Because they feel like this school is better than another school, so let my children, my son be admitted to this school. This is an act of faith, that you follow, you accept a branch of learning. You are more or less certain that it will be beneficial for your future. So this much is an act of faith. But once you select this branch, then you have to follow scientifically, and you have to follow the Swamiji says that concentration is a basic tool. You develop concentration, and in order to develop concentration, you need two things: abhyasa and vairagya. After by abhyasa, regular abhyasa, and by developing vairagya, you learn concentration, and then you focus with your concentrated mind upon your own consciousness, upon your own mind, turn it reverse, uh, as is called in our yoga shastra, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar. This pratyahar is called what? Prati ahar. What is the ahar of our senses? Ahar, that is a food for my eye, is to look outside. Food for my ears is to listen whatever is coming from outside. Food for my nose is to smell whatever is there outside. So this prati ahar, reverse this our senses to inwards. Listen to the omkara song which is going on in our consciousness and our mind. Turn our eyes inwards and focus upon Om or your Ishta Devata. So this follow this scientific method, and then you will have Karamalakvat, Swamiji's favorite word. What whoever has read complete works, Navinaji finds out many quotations from them. So you know, Karamalakvat is a favorite word of Swamiji. It will, as if you can see the result in your own hand, as if you can touch it. Swamiji asked Thakur, have you seen mother? So how Thakur replies, I have seen her the way I am seeing you. I am seeing you. So this become the result will become Karamalakvat. So this is what you should strive to do rather than faith. Faith is necessary by selecting your teacher. Okay, that much. But once you select your teacher, you follow the method scientifically, and it will give you the result. Nothing is better than this Ashtanga Yoga of our Yoga Shastra. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. You follow this, and you are bound to get result.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Swamiji, the of the European civilization in culture, he created
Something is wrong with your voice.
now.
Say, yes, speak. Now your video is also frozen. Connectivity problem, I think.
You see, if there is some issue, Maharaji. Thank you so much for your blessed presence, Maharaji. Maharaj, brother, let me see.
I'm back. Can you
No. There is some issue with your audience. Just say Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti.
Hari Om
Hari
Tatsat
Om
Shri
Tatsat.
Rama Krishna
Krishna, Pranam.